Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to train your aim and how to develop your muscle memory. And if you don't know what muscle memory is, some people have different terms for it, but what I'm talking about when I say muscle memory is basically how accurate your flicks are. So if your flicks are accurate all the time, whenever you flick your aim, it lands exactly or very close to where you wanted your aim to end at, then that means you have good muscle memory. And if it's not accurate often, then or it's not too accurate, then that means your muscle memory needs to be developed and trained a little bit more, right? So let's say I want to flick and hit here. You see like how I missed? I went there. So I want to train my muscle memory to be like super accurate. Okay, and at all situations, all types of flicks, small flicks, longer flicks, medium flicks, you know. And at the moment, I haven't trained my aim in a while, and I haven't been playing a lot, so my muscle memory definitely needs practice. So it's perfect opportunity to go over this with everyone. All right. So the best ways to literally to practice are just aim trainers like Aim Labs and Kovacs. But it's when I say the best ways, I mean the exercises they have are really good. But that doesn't mean you have to have those applications in order to do this. You can literally do this in game, and I have done it in game for a long time, and I have accomplished really good aim and really good mechanics just doing it in game and finding my own variations of those exercises that you can do on those aim training programs and just adapt them to Valorant and then do them here and practice them here. And I have very similar results, if not the same or even better, because the advantage you get from doing them in game is that you shoot with the real guns of the game, meaning you get used to the timings of the bullets depending on the gun and the fire rate and how the recoil goes and the recoil reset goes as well. So that's an advantage of doing it in game. I think it's still good to do a bit of training on the aim training once in a while, but it's something like on the aim training progress. I've used both Aim Labs and Kovacs. I really like Kovacs, but it's not something that you need to do. But if you're interested in trying out it, I definitely recommend it. It makes a big difference if you do it for like a couple days or like a week. You will see a big difference in how good your aim is and how much your muscle memory has improved. And it's also one of those things that you don't need to do it all the time, like every day. You can do that. Maybe let's say you do it every day for like 5 days. If you just keep playing the game after that every day, you don't need to practice your aim that much anymore. Like the in-game, I don't know, 10-20 minutes per day would be enough because your body just gets used to it and you don't forget that muscle memory that easy. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you what I do on Valorant in terms of aim training. I really like to start with this kind of exercise where I just pop the bot here. The settings are these ones. Okay. So nothing here, just eliminate 100. I like bot without armor, so I can one shot with the Phantom, then infinite ammo, and that's it. Then I start, and all you want to do is put your crosshair on the bot's head. I'm gonna change the color of the crosshair real quick. Okay, so all you want to do is put the crosshair on the bot's head, and then you just want to track the head while you run around the arena. So you see what I'm doing? My goal is to keep the crosshair on the bot's head as much as possible. I never want to have it leave the bot's head. So you want to run around the arena like this, and see how I'm not just running sideways or like in front. I'm running always like diagonally. I'm pressing either WD or WA or SD or SA in order to just walk in this circular movements, and this makes it a lot harder to track. And also what this does is the distance from me and the bot constantly changes, meaning that I have to adapt how slow and how fast I'm tracking the bot's head. Also, the bot's head gets bigger and smaller according to the distance, so it's not an easy thing to do. And you can do this for a couple times, and then you headshot the bot, and then you keep doing it again. You get another bot, you do it again, all right? And you can do this like 5 to 15 seconds on each bot, and then you just keep going like this. All right, this is a really good warm-up, and it's a really good way to develop your tracking, and tracking is really important in this game, as opposed to what some people might think. Tracking, basically, if you're good at tracking, you're going to be good at everything else when it comes to aiming. That's how I see it, and that's how it works for me at least. So it's not exactly like you need to track a lot of times in this game, but not exactly the targets. But if you're good at tracking, that will make all the pre-aiming mechanics of things be a lot smoother, and just your aiming in general, like how fast your micro adjustments will be much more accurate, and that will make a big difference in how fast you can get kills. Okay, so that's the first exercise. The second exercise I like to do is more about flicking. Just hit the practice button, and from here the goal is to one tap 10 bots in a row. Okay, and this is how it starts. You just want to one tap 10 bots in a row, and you don't want to miss a bullet. If I miss a single bullet, I start over. So let's go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say I miss a bullet. Now I hit here, then I start over. Okay, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there was one that was not a one tap, so I don't want to do that. If you're like practicing yourself, be like very strict with yourself, and if there's one kill that's not a one tap, or there's one kill that you miss, you always start over and count 1 to 10 again. And once you finish those 10, that's one set. You want to do like 6 or 7 sets of 10 on each position. This is the first position, so we'd go like again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and you're just practicing, basically just flicking at these headshots on the screen, and you can see this as almost if it's an Abelabs exercise, right? Just these are the dots on your screen, you're just clicking them, and these are the distance. Now, how can you change this exercise? You just change your position. For example, you can come here, stand in the middle of the bots, and do it from here. 10 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's happening now is I have to move my mouse around a lot more because of how the targets are spread, but also the targets are bigger, so it's a little bit easier to be accurate, but it's still not easier than before necessarily. It's just a different type of aim that I have to practice. Okay, and the idea is to get faster and faster, but always prioritize accuracy. If you're not able to do 10 in a row at a certain speed, then you don't go faster. You only go faster when you can do 10 at a certain speed. Okay, and then if you start missing, you go back to slow. Okay, it's much more important to be accurate than to be fast, because if you're fast and you miss, you're gonna be slower. Okay, and if you're accurate but slow, you're gonna be faster than just missing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know this speed is nothing incredible, so I'm sure everyone of you can do it. I'm not doing this in any special way by any means. Okay, so this is like the second position I like to try. Let me just close my Discord 1 sec. The second position I like to try, and the third position I like to try, is this one over here. It's the same concept. You just want to do 10 in a row, and in this scenario, I'm seeing a different angle for the targets. I'm using mostly my wrist instead of my arm, as opposed to the second position, and it's again practicing a different aspect of my aim and a different aspect of my muscle memory. Okay, so these are the 3 positions usually I do, but you can literally come up with any position. You can even go up there if you're like on jet, and you can do some weird ones. As long as all you have to picture in your mind is that not the bots, but their heads as dots in your screen, and you want to click them, and you want to move around in order to change how big they are, how small they are, how much you have to flick. Okay, so this is like the first level of the exercise. Then you can improve this by forcing yourself. For example, right now I was doing like flick 1, flick to the closest one, flick to the closest one. I'm always just flicking to the closest one after I get the kill, right? So when you're really good at this, then you can start forcing yourself to not ever go for the closest one, and you go for a bit of a further one, right? So you go 1 here, and then you can go 1 here, and then you're gonna 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. And this is also, again, practicing a different aspect of your aim, and practicing different scenarios where you're not just landing where you went, you have to adjust your crosshair. Okay, and this is not all the same. This might look like it's all the same, but it feels very different for your arm and for your aim, and if you practice this, it will make a big difference. How long should this exercise take? And again, you can do this the way that I just did it now. You can do it from all the positions you like. Basically, changing up the distance from you and the bots is what's important. And I said 5 sets of 10, but you can do like 15 or 30 sets of 10 if you want. At the end of the day, I think this should take about 20 to 30 minutes max. You can do it for like an hour as well, or even more if you want, but 20 to 30 minutes per day is enough to see really good improvements, and that's how I was doing it, and it worked really well for me back when I was playing. Okay, my cross my aim is no example on this clip, okay, but because I have not been playing the game, but on the weeks that I'm playing the game and I'm doing this consistently, my aim gets really good, and this really works for me. Okay, so I really recommend it.